Welcome back to our whole podcast. Naivety, absolute stupidity, some people are saying. Playing such a high line against Norwich away. You'll learn and you'll learn quick, other fans say. But Ben says, this is the issue that I've got with our manager and his style. We will win a few games against low opposition, but when we come across a side that's top half, we are shocking. And that has to be tightened up quickly. It's not heart attack play, it's naive play. Well, we're going to find out what our podcasters think about that in particular. We've got Jack, Ben, and Matty on the quickest Hull City review you'll find across the internet. Welcome to Where Tigers Walk. Drop us a subscribe, drop us a like, and let's talk more about Volta. All right, I'm beginning to suss out Hull City a bit now. I've watched the QPR game and I watched you against Norwich, so I've got it sussed now, I think. But Matty, let's kick off with you this week. Is it stupidity, naivety, or bravery that we're seeing tactically from your manager in these games?
It's probably a bit of everything, I think, at the moment, but is it stubbornness as well? Is there a bit of stubbornness thrown in there as well? I think probably keep going with the same format, keep going with the same idea, and we're going to get undone by a lot of the bigger teams. I think, with the 3 games we've lost against the better teams, they've figured out a way to do it. There is a lot of naivety in the defending. I mean, that's another short corner that we've conceded from. So, there is that there. He is brave. Second half, he did go for it. He changed it around a little bit. We did look quite good at the beginning of the second half, but then the defending at the end was awful. So it's probably a combination of all 3 that there, Mark, I think. So, yeah.
All right, we are going to be chatting that Norwich game. We'll also look at the best of social media takes from the game. We'll talk about home game atmospheres because we're hearing that the Championship is getting a little bit dull at the moment. We can't disagree with it here. It's certainly not dull at Hull City. And what's the earliest you've ever left a Hull City game? We're going to be asking Jack, Matty, and Ben that at the end as well. Jack, you wrote a quite damning report on this game at Norwich. Scathing, I would go far to say as well. You weren't a happy man.
No, I think after 3 great wins on the bounce, you need to be quantified with a good win against a good team. But like you said at the start, playing against better opposition, someone around the same place as you can't play like that and expect to win. We're far too open. Norwich are a quality side with some good players. They had the ball forward quickly. We couldn't cope. And that's why we got beat 4-0.
Jack, was the only positive that it wasn't 7 because there was the Sargent penalty. There were 2 misses. It could have been 8, I think the Norwich fans were saying. Do you have to? I mean, had it been 8, would we be questioning the manager more?
Yeah, I'd be a little bit more worried. Pandor made some excellent saves, and even the first minute when Sainz was on, chipped him, and he got a good hand to it, and he made a couple more good saves. So it could have been more. We could have scored one, but it blatantly put it in with his arm. So that just sums up our afternoon.
All right, Ben, give it to us. Both barrels. QPR away, you looked good in patches and came away with 3 points. Then he did the same thing against Norwich and got absolutely spanked. Is he going to learn lessons, or are we going to see a stubborn German?
I think the latter, to be honest. A lot of the time it seems like very naive the way that we play. The game against QPR in spells we were good. Obviously we won, but like the guys have said, we just got completely found out against the better sides. Where Matty said the 3 losses we've had have all been against top 6 sides, the teams you'd expect to see up there at the end of the season. So yeah, it's confusing at the minute because we have a good run and then all of a sudden we just don't really wake up in time for the kickoff. And a shame to go into the international break on quite a heavy downer, to be honest.
Let's have a look at some of the takes. I like this from Dan, so thanks for this, Dan. Dan says, we are going to get a few results like that this season. We won't be the only side who gets turned over by Norwich. It looks like we've got the seeds of a decent defence. If we give Hughes some minutes, I still think our best starting back four is Giles, Drama, Jones, and Coyle. Matty, would you agree with Dan?
Yeah, and I think this is the dream we've been sold, isn't it? That we're going more attacking and we're going to have more attacking games, but we didn't take our chances Saturday. So I think this is going to be pretty much our season. We are going to get some spankings, but then we're probably going to spank some teams as well. So I think that is probably a true reflection. I would just like him to maybe just change it from we are playing those better teams. I think in the QPR game, when Zambrano came on with Simons in there, it firmed it up a bit more, and we didn't look as bad as well. We just didn't have all that space in the middle of the midfield. It's just like it's far too open. I'm not sure at the back four. He's got drama at centre back. I'm not sure about that. Hughes is unlucky. Debut comes on 2-0 down. Yeah, he made 2 mistakes, but I think he was unlucky. And we've got to give the lad a chance. I think he will come good. I think he did look. He was picking up the positions that McLaughlin were doing. I think he will be good. He will come good. So, yeah, I think that's a true reflection. I think we are going to be there. I think we're going to. Yeah, exciting. Isn't this what we want? We wanted Walter Ball, didn't we? So this is what we wanted. But just not spank 4-0. 4-3
better. Ben, we'll come to Hughes first. Matty was very kind there, but Adam wasn't so kind. He said Hughes was the worst debut I think I've ever seen. Can you remember a worse debut for a whole player?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit unfair to slam him so much, considering it's his first minutes in a while. Obviously, he's come back from that appendix operation, but I don't think. I think people have got their standards far too high. The pressure that has been sort of put onto him, even when he wasn't starting, it was like the back four has to be, including him, not McLaughlin. So he's got a lot to live up to, and obviously it's his first minutes in the Championship for quite a while. I can't remember if he had played in the Championship previously or not, but yeah, and he's still 20. He's got a lot of time ahead of him. But yeah, as for a worse debut, I can't remember anyone making clangers quite like it. But yeah, I think we've just got to give him a chance, like we have with the manager.
All right, Jack. Some quick yes/no ones here, if we don't mind. Beard is full of issues. First of all, Walter made no difference with his subs. Agree? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say yeah for that one.
Too easy for Norwich in midfield. Melem just isn't cutting it. Yes or no?
Yes again.
Zambrano needs some quality alongside him.
Yeah, to some extent. Yeah.
Slater was awful.
No, I don't think he's that bad. I think it's just again he needs the players around him to just solidify his style of play.
And Giles was totally disinterested.
I say it every weekend. I think he is. Yeah.
Yeah, you have. I think you almost. I thought of you when I read this. And teams don't win. The team doesn't win any 50-50 challenges.
No, exactly. It just feels like every single tackle we go in for, it always lands to the opposition. Like just look at Zambrano's touch for the first opportunity in the Norwich game. It just didn't go his way, and we got muscled off the ball and off the go.
Okay. The results against Cardiff and QPR and Stoke then. Should we not read too much into those, Matty? Or is this the level that Hull are at now? You're just a solid mid-table side that will beat the teams that you should beat and you'll lose the teams that you should lose to. And, this is 12th place and that we shouldn't expect any more?
Yeah, and I think that, and I think we kind of predicted this at the beginning of the season. I think we'll still finish mid-table. I think we're miles better than those 3 teams that we've played already. QPR was a bit of a, but we rode our luck, but we had the quality in the end that did that. And we're still early days. We're what we're in 8-9 games into the season. 9 games into the season, we're still finding our feet with how we want to play and stuff like that. Yeah, we've had some good results. We've had some shocking results. But there's 3 teams we've lost to are the top 6. There are better teams than us. Norwich have been established. Their squad's been established. The majority of that is from last season. And they got into the playoffs. They've just altered it a little bit with how their manager is. But, that's a settled squad. Give us another month, 2 months, 3 months. I still think we'll be pushing the top half of the table. I think we'll be absolutely fine. I don't see us in a relegation battle at all. Now, I think we will pick up. We will always go attacking, and we'll always pick up some points against those lesser teams.
I can hear the keyboard warriors even now, Matty, listening to that, typing. Well, we had a manager that was also pushing us for the playoffs the same time last season. We got rid of him.
True, but then that's the owner. The owner wanted to play more attacking football, and I'm sure Ben and Jack will agree. The football last year wasn't entertaining at home. Our home record wasn't good. You go to games and it was dull, and we drew a lot of games at home. So, what our fan base, they're the one extreme or the other. They're either oh, we love it or we don't love it. We've got kind of no middle ground. And it's just like, you can't please everybody. You just got to give him time. I think he will get it right, and we've got some good players. So, yeah, right. It's a progress. It's progress.
Okay. All right. There's lots of articles about championship attendances and atmospheres at games. Then we've spoken to Leeds, Sheffield United, and Sunderland across our channels, and all of them are struggling with atmospheres at the big grounds. Hull, as a ground, as an away fan, having travelled there as an Everton fan many times, has always had a cracking atmosphere. It's always one of my favourite away games to do. How's it been this season, Ben, so far when you've been there? Are you lacking something at the moment?
Yeah. It was, to some extent, kind of the similar situation last season. It was a bit of like, I think everyone was really tense last season, so they didn't really want to get too excited for the games. This season, it's not like bouncing like you'd want it for a home atmosphere. You'd want the away team to come in and think, "Oh Jesus, we're in for one here." But yeah, I don't know what you can really change to make the atmosphere louder or a bit more intense. I mean, the manager suggested goal music after the goals, which is a questionable one. But obviously, we heard Norwich's 4 times, which wasn't pleasant. But yeah, I suppose that could be a factor. It's not something I'd personally want, but things like that might improve it. I don't know. It's not like a cauldron where you come in and you're just scared of what's going to happen to you.
Okay. Yes, Jack, against Millwall, you could have heard a pin drop, I think, through the whole game. I know these 12:30 kickoffs are being blamed a lot for some of these atmospheres as well. They're never good, and people haven't really woken up by the time they get to the ground. Jack, how would you sort this out? Don't say put a drum and a marching band in there.
Oh no, you ruined my idea. No, I'm joking. I mean, I think it's down to the players on the pitch to make the energy around the stadium like high. If they're playing good football, the fans respond. If they're playing not good football, they're quiet. I mean, Cardiff, when we scored, it was good atmosphere. I think it was Walter who thanked us for it and said it was good. And again, against QPR. So when we're winning, when we're playing well, the atmosphere will go up, and I just hope we have more of those games like we did against Cardiff.
Okay. All right, then. The final one this week then is, what's the earliest you've ever left a game at? Drop it in the comments below. Matty, what's the earliest you've ever left a Hull game?
I have to admit that when we played Brentford, the last game of the season away, I left at half time because they didn't serve beer in the ground to away fans. I was absolutely fuming. So I think it was a nothing game on it anyway, and it was 1-1. But I was like, well, I'm really sorry, lads. I've come down to London. I need a beer. So so half time. Sorry, boys. But it was needs must.
You young'uns have made a sterner stuff. I bet you've never left at half time, Ben, have you?
No, not half time. To be honest, I don't think I've ever really left early. I think the earliest is probably maybe like 5 minutes before, just to try and beat the swarm going across that bridge. That godforsaken bridge outside. But yeah, not even when we've been battered. You've got to just stick around and clap the players off. At least you get something out of it. You get a bit of a reward for making the effort to actually go, I suppose.
All right. What about you, Jack? I bet you've stayed till minute 90, haven't you?
Yeah, I've never left early because if I have to get a picture of the final score for my blog anyway. But that's not the only excuse.
Of course,
You got to clap the players. You got to acknowledge you tried. Then you go home.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Our Sunderland fan we spoke to left on 26 minutes when they went 3-0 down to Swansea away a couple of years ago. So 26 is our record to beat. Can you beat that? Drop it in the comments below. Right. We will see you then next week. When, of course, who have we got next week? Remind me. Help me out. Sunderland. Of course it is. Yes, Sunderland. And we will talk all things Black Cats against Tigers in a week's time. Thank you very much for watching and joining. Drop us a subscribe, drop us a like. We'll see you after the international break.